Welcome to Puzzled Files, where forbidden truths, ancient secrets, and hidden history finally rise to the surface. What if the gods of the ancient world were not gods at all? What if they were visitors from beyond the stars? The ancient Sumerians called them the Anunnaki. But who were they really? Divine beings? Or something far more extraterrestrial? Today, we begin our descent into one of the oldest and most controversial mysteries in human history. The story begins in ancient Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, often called the cradle of civilization. Here, long before the rise of Egypt or Greece, the Sumerians carved mysterious symbols and tales into clay tablets, stories that speak of sky gods who descended to earth. These beings were called the Anunnaki, meaning those who came from the heavens or the princely offspring. In the Sumerian worldview, the Anunnaki weren't just spirits or mythological deities. They were described with astonishing specificity. Beings with hierarchy, names, roles, and even detailed interactions with humans. Some were said to rule over specific cities, others to oversee natural elements like wind, water, and even fertility. What's strange is how human they sounded. Sometimes benevolent, sometimes jealous, warring among themselves, and even falling in love with humans. One of the most intriguing records comes from the Epic of Gilgamesh, where the king seeks eternal life and learns from beings believed to be Anunnaki. In the myth of creation, it's said these gods created mankind from clay, but not to bless them. No. According to the tablets, humans were created to serve the gods, to do the labor they no longer wanted to do. And that, right there, is where this story takes a chilling turn. To the mainstream academic world, the Anunnaki are viewed much like the Greek or Roman pantheon, symbolic representations of natural forces, not literal beings. Historians say these myths helped ancient people make sense of floods, seasons, fertility, and death. But there's a catch. Unlike Zeus or Odin, the Anunnaki appear in texts that are far more matter-of-fact than poetic. The Sumerian king list, for instance, names real kings who ruled cities, dates their reigns, and then suddenly includes kings who descended from the heavens who ruled for thousands of years. Even more baffling, many of these accounts are not written in metaphor. They don't say, the god of thunder struck the land. They say, Enki descended in a shining object. He instructed mankind in irrigation, metallurgy, and temple building. That doesn't sound like myth. That sounds like a report, and there's more. When archaeologists uncovered the city of Eridu, said to be the first city ever built by man, they were stunned to find ruins matching Sumerian texts almost perfectly. Eridu was called the City of Enki, a key Anunnaki god, and it existed precisely where the ancient texts claimed. So if the locations were real, and the kings were real, then the question becomes, how much more of the story is also real? And if it's not mythology, then who or what were the Anunnaki? In the 1970s, author Zecharia Sitchin published The 12th Planet, claiming he had decoded the Sumerian texts using ancient language roots. His conclusion? The Anunnaki weren't just gods. They were extraterrestrial beings from a distant planet called Nibiru. Sitchin argued that Nibiru orbits our sun in a long elliptical path, only passing near Earth every 3,600 years. According to him, when it did, the Anunnaki visited Earth, arriving in advanced spacecraft described in the tablets as fiery chariots or skyboats. But why would they come? According to the theory, they needed gold, not for wealth, but to stabilize their planet's atmosphere. Ancient mining tunnels in southern Africa, dated to over 40,000 years ago, have puzzled researchers for decades. Could this be evidence of the Anunnaki's presence? And then there's the human connection. Sitchin claimed the Anunnaki didn't just land here. They altered the course of our evolution. By mixing their own DNA with early hominids, they created Homo sapiens, us. In Sumerian myths, humans are referred to as the black-headed people who were fashioned by Enki and Ninhursag, gods of wisdom and creation. The tablets describe how the gods became tired of mining, and so they made humans as workers. To the ancient astronaut theorists, this isn't a fable, it's an ancient memory. A forgotten truth buried in myth, misinterpreted by time. Of course, this theory is rejected by most academics. But if it's so ridiculous, why do the stories from Sumer match so closely with tales from other ancient cultures? Stories of beings descending from the sky, teaching humanity agriculture, writing, and technology. Across the lands of Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, Iran, and Syria, archaeologists have unearthed thousands of clay tablets, over 5,000 years old, written in cuneiform script. On many of these tablets, the descriptions of the Anunnaki are not mythical stories, but administrative records, lists, commands, star maps, and even blueprints. One famous tablet, known as K8538, shows a layout of the planets in our solar system, including a mysterious, large, unidentified planet, Nibiru. In some carvings, you'll find something even stranger. Human-like figures standing beside tall beings with elongated heads, wearing what appear to be flight suits and helmets with breathing tubes. Coincidence? Or could these be memories of real beings that once walked the Earth? But it doesn't stop there. In Egypt, Peru, and even India, identical carvings have been found. Giant figures holding objects that resemble flying devices or energy weapons. At the Temple of Baalbek in Lebanon, massive stone blocks weighing up to 800 tons have been placed with such precision, even modern lasers struggle to replicate the accuracy. Who or what had the power to move and install such megaliths over 4,000 years ago? Inside the ancient tombs of Egypt, there are drawings that resemble electric light bulbs, plasma energy devices. Were these merely fantasies of ancient minds, or literal depictions of what they had seen? Scattered across the planet are traces of what some call ancient technology. Images of astronauts, repeating symbols of beings from the skies. And this raises the question, are these all just coincidences? Or have we, at some point in history, lived alongside another civilization? Sitchin's theories, while controversial and widely criticized by scholars, ignited a firestorm of interest in the possibility of ancient alien visitors. The notion that the Anunnaki were not divine beings but rather advanced extraterrestrial life forms resonated with a growing audience fascinated by the mysteries of the universe. This perspective transformed the Anunnaki from mere mythological figures into symbols of humanity's search for its origins and the potential for contact with otherworldly civilizations. If the Anunnaki were real, and if their story is etched in clay across ancient Mesopotamia, why hasn't the world heard more about it? Why isn't this being taught in schools or shown in museums? Some researchers believe the answer lies in deliberate suppression. For decades, Western institutions have controlled access to Sumerian artifacts. Many tablets are locked away in the British Museum, the Louvre, and private vaults, never translated, never digitized. Only a handful of scholars can read ancient Sumerian, and even fewer are allowed to publish uncensored translations. Even more suspicious? In 2003, during the invasion of Iraq, the Iraqi National Museum in Baghdad, home to the largest collection of Sumerian artifacts, was mysteriously looted. Over 170,000 priceless pieces vanished overnight. Not random theft. Security cameras showed trained teams going straight to specific rooms. They didn't take gold or jewelry, they took tablets. What were they looking for? And why, months later, did high-ranking U.S. officials visit those excavation sites, accompanied by military personnel and archaeologists? Some whistleblowers claim the U.S. government retrieved ancient technology, possibly non-human in origin, hidden beneath the sands of Mesopotamia. Sound far-fetched? Then why did NASA's chief linguist, Dr. Richard Hoagland, openly call for decoding ancient space signals embedded in human history? Why did Project Stargate, a classified CIA program, include sessions on Sumerian symbols and remote viewing ancient gods? Piece by piece, a picture emerges. A picture of forbidden knowledge, ancient visitors, and a powerful elite doing everything to keep the truth buried. So who were the Anunnaki? Ancient gods created by early civilizations to explain the world around them? Or a real advanced species, visitors from the stars, who walked the earth thousands of years ago? We have thousands of cuneiform tablets, artifacts that describe them in shocking detail, astronomical maps, ancient carvings resembling astronauts, structures built with impossible precision, artifacts that disappeared, and a suspicious silence from global institutions. Is that all just coincidence? Or are we looking at a larger picture? One of edited history, buried evidence, and forbidden truths no one wants you to know. The answers may still lie beneath the sands of ancient Mesopotamia, or locked away in private archives, never meant for public eyes. But the real question is, what do you believe? Do you think the Anunnaki truly existed? Do you believe governments are hiding something from us? Let us know in the comments. We want to hear your theories. And if you're ready to uncover more of the world's darkest secrets, subscribe to Puzzled Files and turn on notifications. Because sometimes the truth is exactly what they don't want you to know.